You're listening to The Rough Draft, a not-so-average personal development podcast for purpose-driven women ready to rewrite their story. It's a show about evolution, changing narratives, and rewriting our life's rough drafts. I interview some of the world's top female leaders in business, energetics, love, relationships, money, and personal power about their humble beginnings and shifts that got them here. I'm your host, Sabrina Greer, writer, speaker, book publisher, serial entrepreneur, and mentor to women in life and business. Let's rewrite. Welcome to the Rough Draft Podcast. I am so excited to welcome today's guest. We have with us Katherine Rose, who is the author of But You Don't Look Sick, and our special guest for today. Katherine Rose is an integrative health practitioner, personal trainer, mom of two, podcast host, published author, and Hashimoto's warrior. For more than 17 years, she's helped women with chronic illness feel better in their bodies by uncovering root causes, reversing stubborn symptoms, and building sustainable wellness. After her own health spiral left her exhausted and dismissed, she created Reclaimable, a safe space where women can heal while feeling seen, heard, and supported through coaching, community, and real connection. This is an appropriate time to bring you in because today is the launch of your book, But You Don't Look Sick. And when we met,
yes,
what was it, like a year and a half ago now? It was
yeah, something like that.
You said you had this feeling that people really needed this message, that there's this whole underground world of women specifically, but I'm sure people in general that are dealing with what we spoke about as invisible illness. Things that it's not obvious on the outside what's going on the inside. And because of that, often you're dismissed or told that you're crazy, or like a lot of gaslighting. And I know from our advanced readers, as well as people in my community that I've been speaking with, that this is a real problem.
Yeah.
And it happens across all kinds of things. And we're speaking up more around the stigma of mental health, because there's like Bell Talks and there's a lot of resources for mental health, which is an invisible struggle in itself. But there's mental health issues that arise with physical health issues when you're being gaslit and told that you're not being honest about things. So share a little bit about your story, if you're willing, and how this book came to fruition.
Yeah. I can't believe that the day is finally here. First of all, I'm so excited and in disbelief, or it feels a little bit surreal, but I'm thrilled. So yeah, part of my story, or how this book came about, for years or decades, I've always wanted to write a book. It's always been up here in some way, shape, or form. But years and years ago, I started just getting these symptoms. I call them mystery symptoms. And I know a lot of people, women with chronic illness and autoimmune disease, can relate, because we don't know what's going on. Doctors that we see a lot at the time don't know what's going on. And we go from doctor to doctor to doctor, like I did, looking for answers. And a lot of times we're told, like I was, your labs are normal. You still don't feel normal. You know something's not right. Or it's just stress, or it's just part of being a mom, or why don't you eat less and exercise more? I feel like a broken record almost for me and for those of us that have had that experience, which is so many people. So looking for answers, feeling very alone and isolated, and me not feeling like, or not even knowing that there are so many other women out there experiencing similar things. I thought I was the only one. Like, it's very lonely, isolating place to be. And even in relationships within family and friends, even that have not experienced this and are not going through similar things, it's hard for somebody that isn't to understand. And when you don't look sick on the outside, it's really hard to explain what's going on the inside. And of course, that points towards the title. And a lot of people that say, but you don't look sick, they mean well. They don't really get or understand that it can feel dismissive to people like us. And I created the title, and I know you helped talk me through selecting the title and help me through my decision paralysis. But I'm really happy we stuck with that one. I want women to look at it and be like, I get that. Like that's me. It's unfortunate that so many women can relate to it, but I wanted them to feel seen, heard, and validated.
Yeah. And it's interesting because a couple of our advanced readers came to me. So usually how it works in the publishing world is we send out a list, and we have advanced readers that are dedicated to our titles, and then we send some out to your list of desired readers, and then we send some out to whoever. But I posted a picture of this book, and 3 women reached out to me and said, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so familiar. I hear
Oh,
that all the time. That
hmm.
really lands." And then I said, "Would you like to be an early reader?" And a couple of them did. So that's really cool because it means that the book is doing what it's supposed to do. A title is always meant to, people in the bro marketing world will say like hook your reader, but it's meant to resonate. It's meant to land deep within so that the title goes, "Oh, that yes, that's me." Right. And I love in this book, and I'm going to give a little teaser here for those who are watching on YouTube. There's some pages within, um, and there's a whole bunch of sayings, things like, "I don't feel like myself. Maybe it's anxiety. You're just getting older. That's normal. It's all in your head. Why isn't anything working? Have you tried this supplement?" So I love that you're calling out all of the pieces that you've personally experienced, but also people in your community because you support women now on this journey. So, do you want to share a little bit about what it is that you do and how you support women in this space?
Yeah, sure. And the what you just showed too is it's one of my favorite pieces. It's not writing, I mean it is, but I love how it got put in several pages of the book and different parts of it, and hopefully that also resonates with readers. I was excited about that. And I am not creative, and that came from this brain somewhere. So anyway, I'm thankful for that. Yes, how I help women. So many different ways. I'm an integrative health practitioner, and a lot of people are like, "Great, what's that?" So I say fancy health coach. I look and work with a woman or women looking at their whole body, not just the symptoms and not just how can we get rid of the symptoms. I it's an integrative or functional approach. So I meet with somebody for at least 90 minutes. I get their whole health history, everything from childhood experiences, um, and all throughout life, whatever they can remember and tell me, because a lot of that affects what we're experiencing now. And the goal is to, over time, get to the root cause of those symptoms. I do want to know the symptoms. I do want to know the severity of them, but the goal is to get to the root and not to put a band-aid on the symptoms. So many of us, I mean, myself included, like we take something for a headache. We drink more coffee when we're exhausted, even though we've gotten like 8 hours of sleep. And we take Nutrafol if our hair is falling out, which no shit, like I've done all of the above. But we've almost normalized some of these signs that our body is giving us. And it needs to, we don't need to normalize feeling bad or feeling miserable. So if we, just an example for the hair loss, like if we take a supplement for hair loss and say it works, we're still not getting to the root cause of why is our hair falling out? one of the main causes is not main, but a common one is low ferritin levels. So that's our stored iron levels. If our stored iron levels are low, that can make us feel like absolute turds. And I know it happened to me, and a lot of us that are still in our childbearing years and still have a cycle that can cause low ferritin levels because we're not replenishing, if you will, those iron stores unless we're getting iron infusions or taking an iron supplement, which iron supplement can cause constipation. And I could just go down that whole rabbit hole, but I won't. But I did want to reference something in the freebie that I mentioned. I don't know if we'll talk about it later, but it's about blood work that you can take in to your provider's doctor's office. So if you've gone to an appointment or many appointments and been told your labs are normal, everything looks fine, take that with you and request those labs be made. I know that it's different in Canada and the US with insurance and things like that. But here, at least, insurance should cover most of those labs. And it just dives a little bit deeper than most conventional blood work and can help hopefully give you answers in some way, shape, or form, especially for ferritin. And a full thyroid panel is in there as well, which is very, very, very important.
So I have a dear friend who is a nutritionist, and she went the route, moved to LA, works with a bunch of celebrities, but she said something to me a long time ago that really stuck, and you just repeated it without any sort of prompting. And it's like, why are we normalizing feeling like shit, basically? Right?
Mhm.
And it's so true. It's like, oh, I'm just tired, or oh, I didn't get enough sleep, or oh, it's perimenopause, or it's this or it's that. Like, we're always blaming something instead of just saying, you know what, something's off, and my intuition is telling me that something is off, and then taking care of it. And I
Yeah.
think it's so important, especially as, we're women and we're getting older, and whether you're just entering your childbearing years or exiting them like myself,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that women have to deal with that are different. Our bodies are built differently, our biology is different, and I think it's important to really take a look at that, because we also do get cast aside in the medical system. Oh yeah, you're fine, it's just menopause. What?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it? That's all you're gonna give me? Excuse me? And
And
I don't have symptoms or chronic illness. I haven't had to navigate those things, but I see it with so many of our authors. And any symptoms I have had, it's been like, oh yeah, you're getting up there. It's definitely like things start to change in your age, and it's like, really, that's it? You're just gonna blanket statement the way I'm feeling? Like, it's super weird. So, as someone who's been anemic since I was a child and
Mhm.
had to deal with ferritin and iron issues and iron transfusions and all of the things, it's like, no, why are we normalizing anything? It's like, if you don't feel good, we should have access to resources to fix it. So I love the work that you're doing. I think it's super important, especially in the circles that we both roll in with, like, high achieving women. We're entrepreneurs, we're moms, we've got multiple things going on at once, we're multifaceted. And instead of just trying to push through and suck it up and deal with it, it's like, if we don't have our health, if we don't have feeling good while we're growing things to be successful, nothing matters. It's
Right.
I think it's not the number one thing should always be our health. And I see this so much in my world, where people might see that as being selfish. Oh, well, you've got kids and they should be a priority, and you've got a business and your client should be a priority. It's like, I can't take care of anyone if
Nope.
I'm not taken care of.
Yep.
And that's, like, might sound cliche and story as old as time, like, put your oxygen mask on first, and do this first, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, that saying, that expression, that analogy came from something that is very meaningful and important. It's like,
Absolutely.
you can't take care of somebody else if you're not, like, if you have no oxygen, you literally can't, like, go around helping people. So take care of yourself first, then you can overflow. from your very full cup,
Yeah.
right?
And it's so true. And all of that just brought up ping, 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 so many thoughts in my head. Thinking about medical gaslighting, and chapter 2 is on all on medical gaslighting, and it defines it, what it is, and also gives you questions and a guide for when you do go into your appointments to hopefully help you advocate for yourself and know that you have a right to ask questions and ask them more than once. And it's your body. You are the expert on your body. And the doctors, if they don't have answers, they are doing the best that they can, the way that they were taught and how they learned. Um, but that was one point. Check that chapter out if you get the book. I think you'll find it really helpful. I wish I would have known all those things early on in my journey, that the doctor isn't always right. They can be, sure. And then now I can't remember the other things that you said. Oh, putting your oxygen mask on first. And one of the things that I've learned just on my own journey, and I think it also has to do with how I grew up and just watching other people within my family and how they do things. But rest, you don't have to earn it. I mean, whether you're chronically ill or not, you have to put your oxygen mask on first. In the community that I didn't mention in your previous question, how I work with women, we also have the Kaya Collective, which is a virtual community for women with chronic illness. And within that community, there's a course called the Oxygen Mask course, and it teaches and kind of gives you permission to do that, to put yourself first. And it is not selfish. I've been, and I'm sure a lot of others have too, just been completely depleted in every single way. And I was missing parts of my kid's childhood. I was in bed. And there were a lot of different factors playing into that for sure. But we've got to, just to your point, take care of ourselves, because that's how you're going to take care of your kids. That's no matter what society says and what society praises, which I feel like it's for us to push through. Just keep pushing through. You're strong. You're strong. Keep pushing through no matter how you feel. And I think that also is contributing to the weight that we feel today.
Yeah. Well, in the subtitle of the book, like how overwhelm, expectation, and exhaustion are plaguing the modern woman. That's it. We're
Mhm.
all exhausted because we're firing all cylinders all at once, and we're not meant to operate that way. So I love what you said around rest does not need to be earned. Because I know I've felt that. I've probably even said that out loud before. Oh, I earn my sleep, or I earn my keep, or I earn and that's such a huge part of the work that I do too. Because writing and publishing a book, it's a big undertaking. It's a giant undertaking. And it's not immediate payoff, right? It's like the process takes a really long time. That's why people call me the book doula. It's like giving birth. Nobody rewards you for being pregnant the whole
Right.
40 weeks of it, It's like it's all behind the scenes work that goes into doing this, to writing a book, to publishing a book, editing a book, all of the pieces. So I think there's a lot of crossover in the work that we're doing, because a lot of people think writing is a luxury, or that sharing your story with the world and on this level is, and it is in a way, but it's also such important work, because what you're doing is bridging your experience and everything that you've built, because I really believe knowledge comes from experience. We can read as many books as we want, we can have as many letters and numbers and titles in front of our name, and that's great. And I'm not discrediting formal education and doctors and all of the things, but our experience teaches us so much more than a
Yeah.
book ever could, than, like a textbook. So
Right.
that's why I love books, because it's a personal story. This is not a textbook. This is your lived experience combined with some of your clients' lived experiences, combined with everything that you've learned yourself over the years. So, really, all you're doing is providing a resource for people who are experiencing it so they can feel seen, heard, understood, and maybe close the gap on getting their own support and really understanding what's going on with them. So I just think it's so important, the work the work that we're both doing, really.
Yeah,
But this work
absolutely.
and putting this book out. So I'm so honored and grateful and excited, and I can't believe it's already here. Here we are.
I can't, and I appreciate it so much. There were some other thoughts that came to mind when you mentioned the subtitle, how overwhelm, expectation, and exhaustion are plaguing the modern woman. And this is in chapter 1, like why women are so sick right now and why you should care, I think is the title. So 23 to 50 million Americans are affected by autoimmune disease, and 80% of those diagnosed are women. And autoimmune diseases affect, and this is a stat, more women than cancer and heart disease combined, which I think is insane. And it's not saying the severity is more than those two things combined, just numbers wise. And I think, or I agree with the fact that women are carrying more than ever before, and not saying like we're better than men or anything like that. Just it just happens to fall on us. And we're dealing with higher levels of stress, environmental toxins, poor sleep, processed food, digital overload is insane and it's not going anywhere. And then the invisible emotional labor that comes with caring for everyone else while often, like we said, neglecting ourselves. And the body can handle a lot until it can't. And I often describe it as our body as a bucket, and every stressor adds a little bit more to that bucket. And eventually, if we don't empty that bucket or detox in some way, shape, or form, it starts to overflow. And that's when our symptoms start to appear. So I could go on and on about that, but I
Well,
will.
and I love that you say, symptoms are signals. Like, it's really, like, it hasn't gone too far. It's not like as soon as you have a symptom, then you're toast. You're going to
Right.
be bedridden for the rest of time. But learning to tune in and listen to our bodies has been one of the most important lessons that I've learned over my personal experience, too. People ask me all the time, how do you do everything that you do? How are you not burnt out? How do you not have adrenal fatigue? How are this, that? And it's like, because I take care of myself first. That's literally it, and I don't wait to earn rest. If I feel like I need to rest, I rest. Everything else can wait. And I've learned that. Unless it's and I did an exercise, and I don't know why I'm feeling called to share this right now, but I did an exercise with a group program that I curated many years ago. And it was called like the emotional triage. And it was like every single thing that comes to my plate, I was like, I'm going to triage this. Is it life or death? How often is the answer no?
Yeah.
Usually, right? And if it
Right.
is, if it's like this is an actual emergency, then of course you respond accordingly. But 99% of the time, when you ask yourself that question, is this life or death? The answer is no, it's
Right.
not. It can wait. It can wait 10 minutes. It can wait an hour. It can wait a day. It can wait a week. Like, usually it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it all just passes altogether. But we've learned in our current climate with social media and technology, we've learned that response has to happen immediately.
Yes.
If you don't respond to a text, it's like, what? What happened? What's wrong with you? If you don't like immediately respond to something, it feels wrong. And I think we have to get back to the boundaries around
Yes.
that because it's not life or death. And then the
Yeah.
second part of the triage, like the next question to ask yourself when inevitably the answer is no, it's not life or death. It's like, can I handle this on my own or do I need professional intervention? So it's like, is this somewhere I need to ask for help or can I really handle it on my own? And then
Yeah.
breaking down what are the steps to handle this on my own, not to put a band aid on it and make it go away, but simply what are the steps to move forward in a timely manner. And I
Yeah.
remember that changing the game for me so much, to just be like, oh yeah, it's not life or death. Like, we can
Yeah.
wait. Everything can wait.
That's good. That's a good system. There was something else you said that reminded me of something. It's like, oh, brain fog. It's another symptom that we
Another
should
symptom.
not
Yeah.
that we should not ignore. Everybody experiences it sometime.
Well, and
Um,
that's a really good point around the perimenopause stuff and menopause stuff. It's like, I feel like every time we experience a symptom that could be related to that, that's where doctors go. It's like, oh yeah, you're that age. Like,
um,
excuse me, what?
yeah, I did a podcast episode on perimenopause and menopause, and they are things for sure. And things do happen to our bodies when we age, like absolutely. But I was getting tired of it being a catch-all, perimenopause and menopause, just like IBD or IBS, which are also things, but they are catch-alls and not I know it feels good to have some form of diagnosis maybe or an answer to something, but there's so much more work that can be done there and a lot more digging that can be done to get to the root cause of the symptom and help your body in different ways rather than just either getting on a medication, which again, there's a time and a place. Yeah, I really can go into that one too.
Yeah, as you can see, Catherine has a lot to say about this topic, so that's why she wrote a book.
That's right.
So I think everyone who's listening can go pick up this book. What I really also love about this book is it's such an easy read. The way it's chunked down into, of course, chapters, but then there's like subheadings and little pieces and exercises and case studies and quotes, and it's just really digestible and really easy to read and break down, which is one of the responses we've got from your target audience, which is, of course, people who are maybe experiencing brain fog or have a hard time sitting down to read a book. Maybe they get headaches from reading. Maybe, there's a lot of things that go into it. So I love that you've been really intentional in creating this book for those reasons. So it's another thing I absolutely love. So you can get your copy on Amazon. The links are in the show notes. And I think everyone should get this book, even if you don't identify as someone who is, quote, sick, right? If you, maybe you're experiencing disordered eating or some sort of mental struggle or emotional struggle, anything that feels invisible. If
Mhm.
you're struggling in any way and it feels like it's not being recognized, like you're being gaslit, I think this is an important book for all of those people. So don't single yourself out and say, oh, well, that's not for me. If you're reading the title and you're like, I'm not sick, so it's not for me. I think we all experience some form of invisible struggle. So if you
Yeah.
were to leave our listeners with one last thing, piece of advice, gold nugget, anything you want to say, what would that be?
I'm like, just one. To that, also to who the book is for, before I say the other thing, is also loved ones of those that are sick and caretakers of those that are sick. There is a chapter of What We Wish Our Village Knew, which is helpful, but I also think it helps you see and kind of feel what it might be like to be in someone with chronic illness's shoes. That's also who it's for. But to leave y'all with, I'll be really short. It's actually three short little things, if Sabrina doesn't mind. Just what I've learned on my healing journey, and hopefully it can help you on yours too. Be willing and open to make changes and play the long game. Even though we know and we hear that chronic illness or autoimmune issues aren't curable, we still can put things in remission. But it does take effort on our part to being willing and open to make changes and to feel better. And also give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up. A lot of us are in this position of being chronically ill because we beat ourselves up all the time. That was me. Give yourself grace on this journey. And the last one I've already said, just you don't have to earn your rest. For years, I treated rest like a reward, and it's not that. We need it to function. It's almost more important. It's almost the most important thing. So don't forget that. And that last thing is there is a root cause out there for what you're experiencing. Don't give up. Keep searching for answers and advocating for yourself. And I'm here absolutely to support you in your journey if I can at all.
And that's a perfect segue into the last piece. If people want to deepen this work with you, besides the book, how can they find you?
They can, in the show notes on the website, there's a form that they can fill out and that goes directly to my email. And then also on the website, there's a link to get on the Kaya Collective community waitlist. Doors are opening for this round on Friday, June 19th, which is exciting. Yeah, everything's on the website that you'll need to get in touch with me.
Including your social media and all of that, right?
Oh, yes, that's on there too. But that is at reclaim.able on Instagram.
Awesome.
But it's
Well,
on there
thank
too.
you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm pumped. I'm excited.
And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time.